And hello again from a very crappy North Bend, Oregon, on the shore. And I found this spot using the website called badweather.com, and it basically gives you a collection of the worst aviation weather they can find. And right now, this holds the distinction of having the worst visibility of any airport in the United States. So I'm pulling this up basically to show you a problem with X-Plane's weather rendition. I've been beefing about it for a little while, and you know all the other things I like about X-Plane, including the smooth rendering and the airplanes like this one, which is the Coronado with the reality expansion pack from Simcoders, that just flies beautifully true to life. You know, some of my bitches include the flickering things here. No matter what you do, you can fix it so it works with the scroll wheel, but then you can't disable X-Plane scroll wheel, so you find yourself accidentally zooming in. And just little dumbass annoyances. On the other hand, the camera system, better than P3d. If I want to adjust something, I can just save it to a key almost immediately, and it's done. And the freeware airports are great, and I think the scenery looks more natural. The stock scenery looks more natural than FSX and P3d stock scenery, but that's a matter of taste. The problem is the weather. And right now, the weather is supposed to be a quarter-mile visibility and less than 200-foot ceiling. And that's pretty close, I guess. The problem is, once you start getting into it, first of all, the visibility retreats away from you, and so does the overcast. And so you climb up, and all of a sudden, instead of climbing into overcast, you climb up, and the overcast goes away. Now, just so you see how I'm set up, I've got SkyMaxx Pro set up for a huge area of weather coverage and solid stratiform overcast representation and a big cloud terrain blend softness, which is supposed to help. But you know what? I'm going to put that right back in its default position just so we can. And of course, some of the manipulators don't work very well. Alright, so it's 500, give or take. Everything else is stock. The real weather connector is set up as it should be. Just apply those changes. Alright, so we'll get started. Looks nice and crappy. That's the point. So, beacon on, nav on, landing lights off, battery on, trim should be closer to neutral. There we go. Gear down, throttle full, props full, mixture full, rich, parking brake is on, and we've yelled clear, except we are on the runway. So, but nobody else is taking off now because they're not crazy. So we're going to prime this just until this peaks, not 1 second more, or we'll flood the engine. Boom. Okay, out with the throttle in a quarter. And I have to say, I'm getting like scary good at that. And we're not really going to go through all the pre-flight, all the warm-ups, run-ups, and everything. We're just going to get going, and I guess in the words of Rich, the immortal Flight Sim 481, we're just going to thrape the engine mercilessly. But this is mainly just to climb out of here to show you what this does. And what it does, at least in my experience, is a no good. And it's really frustrating because this is such a great platform and such a good airplane. So here we go. doesn't really matter. I'll turn this on GPS. And let's just go. Set takeoff power. And we got plenty of it. We're at sea level. As you can see, a little bit under trim. Now watch what happens. So we go up into the overcast, and as we go up, we can still see the ground. And now we can really see the ground. Look at that. As we're going up right now, the overcast is running away from us. All of that stuff that was supposed to be climbed into, instead, we're still below it. And we're still below it. And we're still below it. Now watch what's going to happen. As we come back down, it's actually going to build up around us again. Which, I don't know about you, but that's not right. So here we are. We're now in clear conditions. Okay? And I know Frank or Cameron or somebody from SkyMaxx is going to say, well, the reason why is it's drawing the cloud puff from the middle at the coordinate. What it is bullshit. And you'll see why in a minute. And I'm sure it's well-meaning bullshit, so I don't ascribe any bad motivations to any of this. It might just be that X-Plane's own weather engine and whatever it is that one has to work with when you're working. Now you see the overcast is coming back in. When you're working with a weather add-on here, just doesn't help you. I don't know. But let's just slip ourselves in a little bit here. We'll follow Main Street. It's a beautiful airport. I mean, you can see why people want to fly an X-plane. This is just, it looks good. It flies well, looks good. You know, how can you say no? Except the weather sucks. Now we're going to be seriously cross-controlled here. There we go. Lose a little bit of that slip. And the overcast is back. Look. Okay, that's not right. If you're in it, you should be in it. If you're below it, you should see it above you. And if you're above it, you should see it below you. Oh, well. Words fail me. Anyway, so there we are, back on the ground. And now, what we'll do... And now it looks like an overcast day again. How do you like that? Okay, so I'll just roll to a halting stop here. There we go. Let me just shut down so I don't burn out my battery like I did the last time. I should have turned off our avionics first, but never mind. There we go. Done and done. Parking brake on. Let's get out of X-Plane. Now, let's get into prepared with Active Sky. And again, this is not a us versus them thing. I fly both. I like both. I will say that if X-Plane got a Garmin 750 and got weather that looks like this, I would never leave X-Plane because it's too damn nice. It's too convenient. So this is the difference. So change vehicle. Let's put in the Cessna 182, which I hate. From A to A, it's a great Cessna 182. I just happen to hate Cessna 182s. There's just no two ways about it. I don't like the visibility. I'm 6'5", so when I fly in the real ones, I can't see when we turn. I have to crane my neck and stoop. They are slow on approach, and they are swimmy in the flare. and at least in my opinion, and most of that has been from the right seat, not the left. But they are dull and they're unrewarding. So I'm a low wing guy, and I'm a Piper and a Beechcraft guy. But anyway, change and KOTH, North Bend, runway 13, that's where we were. Okay, I set it to summer. It has nothing to do with the weather, it just changes the foliage. So June, July, August, set it to today. At the moment, let's just set it to clear skies for 1 second, just so you can see. The airport is not going to be as good as the one that I got for X-Plane. So it's another one of those things. Little bit plus here, minus there. There is no one perfect platform, and that's kind of annoying, because I'd rather get some of these off of my, one or two of them off of my hard drive, but I really can't. When I'm 10 years in the ground, maybe it'll be a good flight simulator. All right, so here we are, and apparently we've already started up, and that's fine. I'll just make sure my brakes are on. This is a magnificent plane. There is no doubt about it. Everything is nice. It's just I don't happen to like the plane that's modeled. What I do like is that it's got a reasonably good working autopilot, and of course it's got that beautiful 750. And do any of my controls work? They do not. Alright, well, since they don't work, just go into FSUIPC. See if I can make them work. There we go. Alright, so flap works. Now, what we're going to do, right now we don't have the weather set up because I really want to shock you with this, okay? Just get our brakes on. I'm going to have to plan an instrument approach because we actually... Oh, for fuck's sake. There we go. Okay. We really are going to have to fly this approach because our weather really is going to suck, as it should. Alright, so flight plan and waypoint, we're going to go to noisy brake pedals. Alright. L, this is our transition point. P, C, I, Loop C, Northwest USA, and this is the absolute beauty of... Hang on, I'm just going to put my feet on the brakes. This is absurd. Of this GPN, you know, all of the knob twiddling that you do on the GNS in X-Plane. There you go. Choose an approach. KOTH. Choose the ILS 04. Done. Transition. Loop C. There's Loop C. There we go. Load approach. Load approach. Done. This is our active leg. Go back. Go to our map. And there is our magenta line. We can just zoom out like that. So, slight right turn out. Arc into this runway. And if you notice, if we want to tune our nav, what we can do is, see, it's already idented. Look at that. It is already idented, but if we really wanted to, we could choose find. Now you can do this nearest, and it gives us the only ILS approach, and there it loads it in. Alright, so we'll load that up. and we are good to go. Okay, we will get ourselves into it's enunciating VLOC mode, so we'll pop that into GPS mode, and we're kind of going to half-ass this here. Now there's the plain clear sky weather. Okay, now, well, first thing, it's giving us a message because we still have to manually tune the course here. So set it to 154. The difference between this and X-plane is that you can actually have a tooltip here and it can take you to 154. It's not quite as realistic, I'm sure, but you know, it's one less knob to diddle with, whereas in the real world you could actually get your face close to there and turn the knob, whereas it's not quite as easy. So alright, so now we're set, we're done. By the way, this presents safe taxi maps as well there. It tells us about the airspace we're in, so it's got a 2,500 foot ceiling. We click on it, and if we click on it, it will tell us about that airspace, Southwest Oregon Regional. It will say 2,500 feet to the surface. It will outline it, and you just do that by clicking. In the real world, when you use a GNS with the knobs, it's very easy because you're used to using a knob. As a matter of fact, it might be harder to use the touch screen in a plane. There's some pilots don't like it because they're worried that they'll be bouncing around and they'll hit the wrong touch thing. Now, Garmin has built this little grip and ridge in there so you can lay your thumb on here and hit this with an index finger or something like that so you can steady yourself. But nonetheless, you know, arguably it's not it's not necessarily the best way to do it. But what is really horrible is trying to manipulate the wheels on a GNS in X-plane using the mouse wheel or using the drag or using the plus and minus manipulator. It's a gigantic pain in the ass. So, you know, it's your basic 6 of one, half a dozen of another. But here we go. Now, let's get the weather going here, and you two watch this now. This is going to blow your mind. Ah, it's improved a little. Just a little. All right. Well, we'll climb out into it because it's still going to be a mess. So let's just go. And again, this is a great airplane for P3d. It flies like a dream if you happen to like this airplane. Oh, also, it displays the actual procedure chart. Alright, so now as we climb into it, watch what happens. It progressively gets thicker, and now there we go, and now we're in it. And as you can see, we are in it. There ain't no two ways about it. That's overcast, and that's in it. Alright, let's turn the autopilot on, though. And we're turning the wrong way. Let's get into heading mode. Come on. No. Didn't engage. Try it again. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get wings level. Come on, baby. There we go. Get stable. There you go. No, I don't want to disconnect it. I want to connect it. Alright, are we going to have to do this manually? I guess we will. Alright, well, let's climb up to 2,000 feet. We'll intercept our course outbound to Loopsy. Are we clear of obstacles here? I don't know. Anyway, this is a very nice plane to fly. But I can't seem... There we go. Alright, so it's going to capture our roll rate. Let's go into heading mode right now. We have armed our altitude. At least I hope we have. Yes, we have. Alright. And we should be leveling off at 2800. And we'll work our way back in. Okay, we're leveling out. That's good. I'm going to get us closer to our track. And then I'm going to let it intercept by itself. And this literally displays the map. And there's the procedure, there's the arc we're going to fly. Okay. As we turn inbound and catch our track, our course, our thing, this thing of ours. La Cosa Nostra. Alright, now we can go into nav mode, boom, and it should be able to capture it from this distance. Now the question will be, how well is it going to do this? I can't imagine it's going to do this arc well, but, you know, I'm willing to be proven wrong. What we'll do is bring back our power a little bit. We've actually been flying around with one notch of flaps. That's bad. Do about 20 by 20. We're already going too fast. Slow down a bit. Props are at a nice speed. We can lean out just slightly. Probably don't need pitot heat, but why risk it? Alright, so as you can see, well, as you can really see, the salient point is this is the correct weather, and we are in a layer of overcast, and we can't see crap because we're not supposed to be able to see crap. It is brighter on the top than on the bottom because it is daylight. Oh my God, there's nobody flying the plane. This is exactly precisely as it should be. Let's take a look at our, you know, I could do this right on the, I can do this right on the Garmin. So, to an extent. I want to get my altitudes here. Check our speeds. 2400. All right, so let's come down to 2400. And I'm really interested to see how it sequences this. First of all, let us we'll activate the approach when we get to loop C, and we'll see if it can do it. Okay, so we'll spin this down to 2400, down, arm, out of altitude mode and into vertical speed mode. Forgot about that. This autopilot is the King P3d, and it's weird. This actually holds altitude, but it also toggles into vertical speed mode. See, watch, if I hold the altitude, now it holds it. No, it actually doesn't hold it. Now it seems to just hold the altitude. Now if I want to go down again, I have to do this. Right 261 in 1 second. Alright, and it is turning to 261. I'm just going to adjust our course because it doesn't do that automatically. And we should actually arm there to 2400 so that we stop there. Turn our course to 261. And look, we're breaking out of the clouds. Look at that, and look at that. It's a full, nice, overcast panoply of weatherific splendor. Okay, we're there. We have hit a loop C, and let's see if we can activate our approach. I'm probably going to do this wrong, but approach, activate. Oh, it's going to bring us back to loop C again. So we actually have to activate the approach before we get to loop C, because it will try and sequence it completely, but that's okay. It's doing a procedure turn, and then it will bring us back whence we came. I guess this is a good IFR airplane. I mean, it's stable. You can actually hand fly it well in this kind of weather. And speaking of which, we are, as you can see, we're back in the weather. And it didn't just pop up in front of us. We saw it coming, and then we flew into it. All right, now let's see if it actually does this. Let's see. So go back, go to flight plan, and loop C is next. And it's got an arc. Let's see if it can fly an arc. Jesus, that would be great. That would be unbelievably cool. Alright, so it's doing its procedure turn. Look at that. Look at that. It's correctly interpreting this as a flyby waypoint. It is, look at that, it's widening the estimated arc because of the wind that's blowing on us and because of our speed. Look at that. How do you like them apples? Let's see if it can fly the arc. If it can fly the arc, it basically means that you can do a Pilot Edge I-11 exam basically with your eyes closed if you wanted to. If you didn't really want to learn how to fly a DME arc, that's what you could do. Alright, now our ILS heading is 146. Let's see if it flies the arc. God damn. And again, look. There's overcast below us, there it is above us, and there is the different cloud thicknesses as we're just sort of right on the edge of it, and you see the gradation from here to there. And we are just right in the sort of transitional area. Look at that. Alright, it is flying the arc. Glory be, it is flying an arc in a Cessna. And a crappy little Cessna. We will fly the arc to about here, and then we will ourselves intercept the localizer. And we'll see how this thing flies. I mean, I have nothing but praise for A. I wish the Comanche had this autopilot in it. If it did, that would be all I needed. And this isn't even a great autopilot. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. It's a bit weird, but once you get used to it, it does what you want to do. Whereas the one that is in the Comanche is an old-fashioned S-Tech that almost doesn't work. I know it has its fans, but it pretty much almost doesn't work. And look at this, it's popping up messages telling us to reset the course every time we get 10 degrees on the arc, which is sort of what we would be doing ourselves. Look at that. I am very, very pleasantly surprised. That is just frickin' awesome. And again, boys and girls, that's really what the weather is here. And we're right, since we're going away from the shore and towards the shore, we're basically coming in and out of kind of a marine layer. Because even though I've got daytime set up, this weather right now is actually about 9 o'clock at night there. So now it pops up a message, look, and it's going to tell us set course to 282. That is awesome. Turn our heading bug. And you know, just for yucks in my nav 2, let's put 108.5 in there too so I can see the localizer coming in. So we'll get that tuned up. By the way, A doesn't have any manuals for these avionics. They just refer you to the real ones. And let us get our DME in here. And since I cannot set it to slave it to number 1 because I'm not doing number 1, instead, let's see if we can do it that way. Alright, now it's telling us to change our course to 293. And notice that's more than it was before. And the reason why is because, as you'll see, there is probably, yeah, there's a little bit of wind blowing us out, so it is actually tightening up the turn to keep us on the arc. That is pretty damned intense. Okay, so we're in the soup. 120 knots, that's fine. We're at the altitude we need to be. Turn on our fuel pump. Landing lights are on. Cowl flaps are open. Let us get into heading mode now. Set a heading of about that, which will get us further into our arc. Come down here. Heading mode. Flip ourselves into VLOC. Turn our course to 046. Okay, adjust our heading. Set an intercept heading right about there. Okay. And oddly enough, that's the heading we should be on. Let's see what kind of frames we're getting. We're getting anywhere from 29 to 60, so in a second we'll pop into nav mode. And we'll slow down a little bit too. God, look at this. If they made this for X-Plane, I would be a happy boy. Slap one of these in one of the reality expansion pack things, and pretty much that's all you'd need. It is so nice. And actually I should be squawking. 2, 1, 4, 6 is what we were assigned. There we go. By the way, if you want to ident, just do that. Looking for the localizer to come in. Below the glide slope. We are in the delta. We're on speed, on target. That also is our localizer, and actually we should set that to 046 so we have it backed up. Come on. There we go. Okay, here it comes. Is it going to catch it in time? Probably not. Probably did that a little bit late. Well, let's give it a fighting chance. We'll slow a bit. We got a long way to go anyway. And what we will do is we will start to descend slightly so we stay below the glide slope. There we go. And now we can drop ourselves into approach mode. Put out our flaps, put in our props. And let's see how she flies. heading bug set. In a second we'll get our missed approach altitude tuned up. I think we can do that now. Alright, there we go. I'm a little bit less than clear on my manifold pressure and speeds, but we'll get there. No DME, so I'm going to have to use this. Let's see. 4.7. Okay, so we're 10 miles out, 10 and a half miles out. And we're at 1,800 feet. That is fine. We've got a negligible crosswind from our left. And as you can see, we are in the overcast. Imagine that. And no, the overcast isn't running away from us either. It's fully overcast. So 3 miles to Emir. And 4 miles to our runway. 4, and we're at 1,300 feet. That is perfect. Let's slow down a bit. Bring in that much flaps. About 80 is about right. Our nose looks like it's sort of in the right position. And as you can see, it's overcast. Alright, we're 3 miles and 900 feet. That is good. And this may not even be a legal approach, but I'm not going to do a go-around. We're just going to land. Okay, we've passed the outer marker. Looking good. A little fast. 600 feet and we're 2 miles away. That is perfect. At 3/4 of a mile we should be runway in sight. But we're not just yet. And I'm not about to fly this myself. Sorry. I don't like flying this plane. 500. Okay. 500 above the ground. And our final notch of flaps. Slow down. We're at 70 knots. And this is going to be close, kids. Look at that. And look at that. It left us absolutely perfect. Better than I certainly could do. And look at that. There's the overcast above us. And this is just a dull plane to fly, and it's going to float on landing, or just sort of mush around in the sky, unless I get it just right. So that's what we're going to try to do. I always overflare in this plane. And early, too. Like that. Alright, 29 feet per minute, that was okay, but boy did it feel like a struggle. Bring up the flaps. I'll show you our float. Also, I'll show you breaking out. I'll show us breaking out of the weather. Let's try it again. Analysis, instant replay. 1K. Tower. Oops. Where are we now? That's no tower. That's my wife. No, I don't want to do that. How do I close the window? Close the window. Oh, for cripe's sake. View, close, view. Tower, nearest tower. Alright, well. Certainly is pretty. No idea where we are. Can I? Wow, but look at the mist. Alright, there's got to be an airplane in there somewhere. Ah, look. Look at us coming out of the mist. Look at that. I like that whole moving thing there. Alright, so let's see. Where is it? Where are we? Please? Anyone? Bueller? I can hear it. Can't see it. That must be the runway. Oh, it's a great place to put a tower, isn't it? That's a thing that X-Plane does a lot better. You can move the camera around. Alright, so we float, see? Come on down, come on down, come on down, come on down. Alright. Enough of that. So anyway, that is how it should work. Oh, here's another problem with prepared. It tends to crash a bit. So that is a great way to end it, lest you think that I love one of these programs and I hate the other. I don't. But that's just an example of how X-Plane weather sucks and how Active Sky and P3d is rather good. For whatever it's worth. Anyway, with that, looking at my messy desktop here, I will leave you and see you again next time. Bye-bye.